Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Just when we thought we were out, they brought us back in. Top four race, we're back in. It's our big win against Lowly Spurs. Had to basically hand them a chance. Penalty, handball, we didn't get one. OG, Harry Maguire, Bum City. But Ronaldo showing his class. I guess he took some time off, went to Portugal, got some sun. He looked vintage. Vintage tonight. Some really good play from a lot of players, i.e. Sancho. Sir, are we going on a runner? Or is this just like a little bit of a false dawn? But either way, it was a fun game to watch. Good win. Old Trafford, Tom Brady. Hey, GOAT respects GOAT. It was a fun day.
I'm still buzzing. 3 points in the bag. What a game for Manchester United fans. This is what football is all about. This is what the theater of dreams is all about. CR7 returning home. A legendary hat trick against lads at Tottenham. You love to see them sulking. Conte whinging. Inject that into my veins, sir. I need more of that. Team played well, created a lot of chances, but Ronaldo was the difference. He's the reason we're still in the Champions League. He's the reason we can arguably be fighting for top four. He needed a rest, got a rest, came back looking absolutely awesome. Exactly what United need at the right time. But it's about kicking on from here. We can't be up, down, FC. We need to be putting together a string of games and a big game against Athletico. Let's go in the next round. We go again in the Champions League. Absolutely buzzing.
You would hope it's what we could use to propel us with a big game on Tuesday. A winnable opponent. I think we saw that when we went to Madrid, that we could beat this side just by showing up. This performance today, far from perfect, right? A lot of the same problems we've had in the past. Sloppy defense, coming out in the second half. Lame duck. We did it again today. Lame duck a little in the second half. They let us get away with it. And they were on their best game, but in the end of the day, big 3 points against a team that's fighting the top four. Sorry, kind of wanted it to be done in the sense of top four is gone just so we can worry about other things. But this is going to go to the end because that's how Manchester United does it. And you know what? Let's go. Tuesday's a big match now. Now it gives me some hope. There are players in this side ready to go, but still question marks to be had, right? Some players that looked at it, couldn't give a damn in the second half. So mixed bag, but hey, 3 points. Very excited.
Always questions to be asked about this side. Have you watched the last few games we've played? I mean, unbelievable. The problem with this side is you can have a big win against Tottenham and then bottle against Atletico. And if this team does it, and we're going to have a long break. We've also seen this team play well into a long break and come back looking horrible. All the leaking in the dressing room this week was not great. Rashford says he wants out. Now we come out and look awesome. CR7, the GOAT. So for United fans, a tough season all around, but I just need some consistency from the lads. Big game against Atletico. We win that. You're feeling some momentum, and momentum is what we need. You can't get started any later than this, honestly. We've let it go to pretty late here in the season. We have a tough run of games. Obviously, the Scouse Bastards postponed. That's actually a win for us right now, but top four is out of our hands, I'm going to say. We need Arsenal to bottle it. But I went through the fixtures. I said we'd lose against Shitty. I said we would beat Tottenham. It's playing out like I said, and we would be tied with Arsenal on points if we continued down this path.
Oracle sees all. There are 9 games left in the season, sir. I mean, to
go through them, pick them. It's going to be close.
I don't disagree.
It's going to be close, but we need them to bottle.
We do, because we've dropped so many points along the way. And by the way, all the off-field drama has not gone away. Even with this win, it ain't going away. In some ways, it's getting worse. Marcus Rashford.
It can go away.
It's not going away, dude.
If we start winning, that drowns out all the whinging. You lose.
We were winning some games, and the whinging didn't go away. So I think that's going to continue because Ralph, he's not futzing around. He's calling it like he sees it. I don't think the players are used to that, shaking things up, not always the good. But we needed some performances on the pitch, and it's been rough. So I enjoyed today as a fan of the team. I'm hopeful for Tuesday, but I don't want to get my hopes up because this lot has let me down time and time again.
This is a vintage United performance, though.
It was Ronaldo.
They pin one back, ball don't lie. We come back and then win it late in the game. CR7 putting a stamp on it, and like as a fan, that's everything this shirt, this badge is about. So just a vintage performance all United fans can enjoy today. But it's really about the rest of the season. How deep can we go in the Champions League? Can we contend for top four? These are questions I'm a little nervous answering right now, but I'm going to enjoy today. I hope all the Reds enjoy today. Quick PSA for the podcast. If you like us and you want to meet more Muppets on the couch, given that biased fan take, join our Discord channel. We have an amazing community, almost 500 members. You can get an invite on our Twitter page. It is pinned there. Just click on the link and you'll jump into the chat. We talk during match days. We have an in-the-know transfer specialist as well, talking about everything Manchester United. Is awesome. Join our Discord community. Also, check us out on Patreon. We don't have any sponsorships on this podcast. We don't want to break it up with ads. We want to be supported directly by you, the fans. Sign up on our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/American Red Devils. We give away pins, stickers, scarves, shirts, you name it. Another great community. We also do a podcast every month behind the scenes where we answer all your questions. Also, check out our website. Great fan-generated blog content. Again, for fans, by fans is our motto. Click on store, hoodies, hats, shirts, scarves, you name it. Everything supports a small-time operation. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews or 5-star reviews, wherever you listen to the American Red Devils, is a great way to support the pod. And we have a continuation of our giveaway. We are giving away free swag, stickers, pins, keychains, and all you have to do is write a 5-star review wherever you listen to the American Red Devils. Send a screenshot to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I will personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD merch straight to your door. We got a great review the other day from CGD 0003, the Sir. I was about to comment on why you say sir too much, but someone beat me to it. At first, I didn't like it, but it gave you all a second chance. Now I absolutely love the podcast. Please give them up and a shout out. Lastly, what's going to happen to Greenwood? I'm so curious. Keep up the good work. Appreciate the review. Appreciate the 5 stars. Lots of questions to be asked.
As far as what's going to happen to Greenwood, I am not an expert in the UK criminal courts. We're going to defer to the press on that. We will keep you guys. We're going to defer to counsel when news comes out about that. We will keep you guys posted, but I really appreciate the review. And if you can believe it, we try to hold back on the sirs. That's what you're getting right now. So let's get to this match. Manchester United 3, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Lads, it's Tottenham. They deserved it. Unbelievable performance from the lads. Let's get into that lineup. We had Dave saves world number 1 in net. He was almost out for this game. Then he's back in. COVID test. Just kidding. Tell us at left back, Maguire, Varane, center back pairing. I know no one's worried about Maguire playing. Delo at right back, Matic playing CDM, Pogba midfield with Fred, Rashford on the left, Ronaldo up top, and Sancho on the right. What'd you make of that lineup, Alex?
Gotta be good enough to beat this Spurs side. Question marks for Maguire, of course, because he looked...
Why? He cost $80 million.
Great
World
player.
class, mate.
World-class player. I heard he's captain for England, too. That's pretty good. That's important. So he hasn't been in form. He didn't. He looked pretty bad until he scored that old goal, and then he kind of stepped up. But Bruno was the big, absence, seeing him out. And then, honestly, Rashford, because he has not been in great form. But others, I was excited to see Matic as the holding position. I always thought, when he does come in, if he can keep the legs in it, he plays a huge role. And I thought today he was excellent.
Shout out to Cavani on the bench. Also, McTominay out. He is ill as well. Let's get into that first half. United come out playing pretty well. 7th minute, Ronaldo tries a cheeky chip after Pogba finds him in some space. 9th minute, penalty shouts for Spurs in the box. Penalty shout, Dyer, this is the big one here. Hands behind his back. What'd you make of this when it was not called a penalty? Ronaldo kind of shot on net. Dyer lunges for his arms, go backwards. Blocks the ball. What do you make of it?
I tend to think that the rule is if the body is naturally made bigger, it should be a handball, and this one, because it's dragging and it's back, I'm sure they would defer because, it was behind him. It wasn't as intentional, but he did make his body bigger. And, my thing about this is the consistency in the Premier League. It is so off. John Moss is one of the worst refs you'll see in professional soccer, football. He's awful. He's out of shape. He's the same shape as me, and I should not be a ref, and neither should he. So that just tells you the level of officiating in England is actually quite poor if you compare it to some of the other top leagues. But, sir, let's go to the rule book. What do they say?
Yeah, so with the handball, you have a lot of armchair quarterbacks here on Twitter, et cetera. And the IFAB did update the rule for 2021, and specifically the clause that would impact this Dyer situation would be player touches the ball with their hand or arm when their body is unnaturally bigger. Notice there's no natural position. It's unnaturally bigger. He's making himself unnaturally bigger with his arms behind his back. And then the sort of gray area is if the players consider to have their body made unnaturally bigger when the position of their hand and arm is not a consequence of a justifiable action of the movement of their body. So if Dyer moves forward and his arms naturally stay there as part of that movement, then it's not a handball. But for me, the clause about him making himself unnaturally bigger is what would have this be called. Now, the real issue here is getting to the next one where he actually gets screwed by John Moss, is he should let both of them go to VAR or he should be calling both of them. And the VAR should be the one to judge, because at the end of the day, it's more of how the review system is used. But this is a big moment in the game because later on, him calling that straight handball would give Tottenham the equalizer.
Well, there's the rule, and then it plays out in real life like twice in one half of football. One being very soon, but it's a good point about like maybe you should just defer to VAR. Sir, we didn't think it would matter in the 12th minute when we saw some vintage golazo from Ronaldo. Who else?
Michael Carrick is into him, and now Ragnick is into him again. Lovely strike, what a goal by Cristiano Ronaldo! Oh, he's back, and he's just equalled a FIFA World goal-scoring record. 805 career goals for club and country. Josef Bitsen has company. What a strike by Cristiano Ronaldo. 25 yards into the top corner. Manchester United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Hey, look, you get hard done by that call. You get a Fred flick and a Ronaldo banger. Sir, you got to just enjoy this one. I could watch that all day.
It's a beautiful goal. Nice from Fred. I mean, Fred is one of the players, probably along with Sancho, that is showing a resurgence under the German manager. Nice creativity, but what a great goal from Ronaldo. It's just like we haven't had enough of that, but he's been our top goal scorer this season, sir. If anything's going to happen this year, it's because of CR7. He was lights out today.
And he ties the FIFA club and country all-time record for goals. And, you know, by the way, he would break it here on this legendary night at Old Trafford. One to remember, 16th minute, Pogba with a decent chance just wide, United looking confident. And then we kind of let up a little bit. Spurs get back into the game here. 18th minute, Spurs score on the break, but Davies is offside. It was coming, though. Spurs, United kind of have that goal we let off, and then Spurs were coming at us, and they looked pretty sharp.
Well, that's this United side we talked about. It was a great win, great result, but this was not a perfect performance. We gave them more chances that they needed to have, and they weren't necessarily like top form Spurs. So let's keep going.
23rd minute, Telles finds Ronaldo, but his header goes just wide. And then the 34th minute, we're going to get into the handball controversy here.
Excellent plays through Sancho. Ooh, now then, John Moss, penalty. Handball. Alex Telles, the left back for Manchester United, says, look, I had my arms down by my side, but let's take a look.
Lovely football by Kulusevski, working his way through a really tight space, and there's the ball, the arm's out, it's further away. Penalty.
Harry Kane, right-footed, scores! Doesn't he always from the penalty spot? What a game we have here at Old Trafford. Harry Kane.
I mean, this just makes you get so fired up as a fan. Just I have issue with John Moss. He's a bad referee, like you said. He's out of shape. Alex is yelling at him on the couch. How could he be a referee? And then the main issue I have here with the Telles one is you got to go back to Middlesbrough, right? Because this handball issue has actually hurt United. You think about the FA Cup. We're out of the FA Cup because of it. If Middlesbrough isn't a handball, that Telles isn't a handball. Exactly. And then that Dyer one's not a handball.
Right.
But you can't have the Middlesbrough one not be a handball, Telles be a handball, and then the Dyer one not be. It's the consistency that I have issue with. And the consistency, two of them really, all three of them go against United. All three, that somehow the rule is being interpreted in a way where it can just screw Manchester United in. That's a tough, sir, this is a big game for top four, a tough goal to give up here.
And I'm a Muppet. Number one Muppet, you'll find. But, like, there's just a tendency. I'm not even going to talk about the United getting screwed thing. It's just like there's the lack of consistency is egregious. For the most valuable sports league, arguably in the world, to have such, come on, dude, John Moss, bro. Like, look at the refs in Spain or in Italy. They're like fit as a fiddle. John Moss looks like he has too many meat pies, bro. It's true. It shouldn't happen.
Hey, English refs like meat pies.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And we're going to get back to a 38th minute ball don't lie.
To Matic. I won't be thanking Harry Maguire for that sort of pass. Ronaldo.
The flag has stayed down for the time being. Ronaldo! And the flag has stayed down. And Cristiano Ronaldo has the world record. #806 and counting. The flag in real time has stayed down.
My favorite part is John Moss and the Tottenham players talking like, yeah, don't worry, we're going to check that one.
Yeah. I'm on Team
Like,
Tottenham. I'm on Team Tottenham.
It just doesn't look, it's not a good look when he's like, don't worry, we're going to check it. But look, it's onside. Ronaldo, great finish, great goal. This is the CR7 we've been needing to see. Look, he's had trouble finishing for a certain period of time, but now he looks to be on point right at the right time for Manchester United. What a goal. What a ball from Matic, Sancho. CR7 does the business.
I mean, there's a certain amount, like, he was out of form. Certainly this United team was out of form. First goal was absolutely spectacular. Second one, great team goal because Matic with a good ball over the top. Sancho with a great first ball. And Ronaldo, class, bro. He knows where to make that run. That's a great goal from him. That's why he broke the all-time record, sir.
I mean,
Hell of a
806, unbelievable. Second half, United come out a little slow. Tottenham into it. Son goes close. United look, like I said, off to start the second half. And then 66th minute, Ronaldo takes a pop from way out, but there's no, Lloris is there to parry it. This one was actually a good chance from United. 68th minute, sub Elanga for Rashford. I don't think Rashford had his best day out there for United. Again, kind of going missing. Good in the first 20 minutes, kind of faded, never got back into it. We didn't look too confident with the 1-goal lead. It always looked like we were going to need another one to put it away. And our captain took that personally, decided to put it in the wrong net here.
Kane, Romero, here's Son, rolls it wide, opportunity, here is an own goal at the near post. Harry Maguire concedes the own goal and we are level at Old Trafford. A moment to forget for the United captain. Lovely move by Tottenham. And it's 2-2. Focus, says Antonio Conte. The points to play for inside the last 20 minutes at Old Trafford.
Well, they've been inviting this, haven't they? And there's the opportunity again coming from a wide area. Harry Kane does well in a really congested part of the pitch to keep the ball. Son hesitates and the own goal by Maguire.
I wouldn't even let him on the bus after the match. I get a taxi back to Manchester.
Sir, I listened to the last pod, and I ripped into Harry Maguire. Just like annihilated. Called him an £8 million player. And maybe that was unfair.
12. He's 12.
Maybe that was unfair. But that's an £8 million player move because, dude, I mean, I could rip him, but like he's been ripped, and we know, like sir.
Rip him. Let's go.
I can, sir, because he's
Fans
like, look
want
at
you
that
to. He's
face
a
he
bum.
made. Look at that. I know he's a bum. He knows he's a bum. But the kind of player that's going to score that own goal
Dude,
when
come
you're
on,
winning
man.
at home in a big game against Spurs, and he's your fucking captain, sir.
Feel bad for Harry Maguire.
I don't
and
feel
his
bad.
Big money deal.
I don't feel
and
bad.
him-
This whole team is kind of like
He's our captain.
Sad Sack FC, and that was like a Sad Sack OG
Dude, he's like
goal
the
score. That was
dude.
bad.
Dude, he's the head of the Sad Sack band of bandits over here. He's the sad English, not
Feel
winning
sorry for
anything
myself. A lot of feeling
crew.
sorry for myself. They were hanging their heads walking out in the first
No,
place.
it's like I'll tell you what. Manchester United, it's hard for us to be successful when the man supposed to be leading the line, the man who's supposed to be the leader in the locker room, leading Manchester United is the biggest liability. That is very hard for us to do. If Ronaldo was our captain and your captain goes out and does that, people are going to be looking up to him. And instead, you're looking at the back to Harry Maguire. Why the hell is this guy our captain? It does affect the locker room. And how could there not be a rift in the locker room when you have Shaw, Harry, Marcus, the whole English crew, and then you have the Portuguese, Delo, Bruno, Ronaldo. Clearly, it's cliquey. Of course, it's going to be. But when your captain plays like this and is out of form, almost a liability. Look, there's a player there. He does play well for England. My eyes don't lie. But when he's at Manchester United, that jersey's a little heavy. That price tag's a little heavy. And it looks like it. And maybe he needs to be rested. Like you said, I'd be more confident with Phil Jones at the back line.
I would. And you know what? You got a big game on Tuesday. Big game with player a lot better than this dog shit Spurs team, bro. This team is bad. They weren't even that good, and we barely beat them. And Harry Maguire is a fucking liability. We know it. And the best thing you could do, the only chance of saving his career at Manchester United, there's only one thing you could possibly do. You have to strip him of the captaincy. That's the only shot we got. Bench him, strip him.
I'd say win a trophy. I was going to say win the Champions League.
Yeah, but he won't do it as captain.
He lifts the Champions League.
He can't be captain. He can't be captain. It's too much. It's just it's too much, bro.
You don't want to beat him while he's down. But we are a podcast. We are Muppets. So you got to kind of
pundits.
No, it's like hard when an 80 million pound player is your weakness. We've seen too many of these big price tags not pay off for Manchester United.
Walking around the second half, right? 90 million pounds.
And that is, you get that big money, it's going to come with you, and it's hard. I'm not an 80 million pound center back. I don't have to stress like that. I just talk smack on a pod. 80th minute sub Cavani for Modric. I thought Modric had a great game. I thought you saw Fred getting forward early in the game, and that's what it looks like when you have a proper CDM. Oh, by the way, Camavinga playing lights out for Real Madrid. Our front office fumbled on that one as well. But, sir, Ronaldo, he's going to finish it off. Hat trick. It's written in the stars. Let's go.
And it goes! Oh, would you believe it? A hat-trick for Cristiano Ronaldo! This man is simply superhuman. He flew through the Manchester air and nodded it into the top corner. It could be a massive goal for Manchester United as they seek Champions League football for next season. Only his second career hat-trick in the Premier League, his 59th of a glittering career. Cristiano Ronaldo, extraordinary. Manchester United 3, Tottenham Hotspur 2.
Unbelievable from Cristiano.
Ronaldo's my boy.
Unbelievable from Cristiano Ronaldo.
Sir, even when Arlo White is talking up our team, I don't like it. It bothers me, just visceral reaction. But hey, what a goal from Ronaldo. Scoring from a set piece, sir. The wind is finally at our backs. We are ready to play. I mean, that's the only thing that's going our way. Ronaldo scoring from corners. Are you kidding me?
Like, what a header. What a header from Cristiano Ronaldo.
I don't understand.
What was that? What did he say?
Cristiano Ronaldo, his first interview ever.
I don't understand.
For Manchester United. With Gary Neville, by the way.
How many goals? 806?
806. And a special night for him. But let's get into it. 93rd minute here. Actually, 83rd minute sub, Lindelof for Ronaldo. I thought Lindelof showed a little grit coming back on the pitch.
Dude.
And a good sub from Ralph Rangnick. He knew to close up shop. Takes off CR7. That's a hard thing to do. 93rd minute, Cavani nearly sets up Sancho for a tap-in, but doesn't come off. United showing grit. They showed fight in this match. This was the difference maker. That energy of Old Trafford was effective. The players were digging in. They had to face adversity. They overcame it. And they looked exhausted. It looked like they hadn't had to play that hard all season. You saw it out there on the pitch. That's what it takes. That's what it takes to win a game like this, a tough game of football. And hopefully this is a lesson for them going on this rest of the season.
They're going to have to show grit. If we're going to finish the top four, if anything special is going to happen in Champions League, or at least we're going to proceed into the next round, we're going to have to show some grit. Shout out to Ralph Rangnick, who probably is towards the end of his line at Manchester United. I think they're going to send him on his way because the man's too honest. But his subs were all spot on. Rashford was useless in the second half, needed to get yanked. And he went for it, right? Cavani and for Matic. And then as soon as he got the hattie, pulled off Ronaldo, put on Lindelof. Ronaldo was still pissed. That's why he's the best player of all time. He was still mad. He was like, I could have gotten a fourth.
I know.
Maniac.
He's like your friend. It's like you got to hold it back. Hold me back.
Like, no more shots, bro. You're good.
It's like, relax. It's like, but a proper performance, a proper team performance, a proper Manchester United performance, one for the jersey and one for the fans. We got it all today, and you got to call it out. We haven't seen that in a long time, and ironically, against Tottenham last season, we did the same as well. That big comeback, the VAR goal taken away from the McTominay foul on Son, and we fought adversity and came back, and that can lead to special things. We saw us kick on after that, and this team hopefully can kick on in the Champions League, sir. There is a chance for a trophy. I said it. Team stats, 10 shots for Manchester United, 10 for Spurs, 6 on target for United, 3 from Spurs. Possession 42% to 58%, but they didn't do much with it. Lads, it's Tottenham. Let's get into the reaction here. Cristiano Ronaldo breaks the record for most career goals scored ever for club and country in FIFA's all-time rankings. The FIFA rankings of this record, there are some players that were technically back in the day non-FIFA sanctioned football, scored a ton of goals, but obviously they have to pick it. Ronaldo is the man, top of the list. Can you debate? He's the GOAT.
I mean, Pele apparently scored over 1,000 unofficial goals.
Exactly.
I think Ronaldo, dude, he's going to play a couple more seasons top in Europe, and then I think he's going to go to MLS.
But still, no one's done it
for
at
like
this
6
level.
years and just score like 30 goals a year.
But nobody's done
top
it at this
player,
level.
dude. Today,
Nobody's done it at this level.
was the best performance he's played for Manchester United since coming back the second time around. He was
Special.
great. He could have had more goals, and you know what? If anything's going to happen, dude, show him that grit, show him that class, and show him just like, you got to keep running, bro. We have players in their 20s that weren't running as hard as Ronaldo.
It's unbelievable, and a special night for him, a special night for fans. This is something that we should remember because he asked for that match ball. It's special because this is probably the last hat trick at Old Trafford for CR7. I don't want to say it's the last one, but it's got that vibe. And the next match reaction here, Cristiano Ronaldo scored his second Premier League hat trick and his first since January 2008 against Newcastle. His 2 trebles were separated by 14 years and 59 days, the longest gap between hat tricks for a player in Premier League history.
I remember that 08. I remember that hat trick. That was good times, man.
Yeah.
Champagne
Good
was
times.
flowing. Champagne was flowing back then.
I'll tell you,
Shit's
if
dry
you,
now.
if
It's
you
like,
told us the future, we wouldn't have believed it. And Manchester United have now won exactly 400 Premier League home games, becoming the first team to reach that milestone in the competition. 23 of those wins have been against Tottenham. And Cristiano Ronaldo, 37 years and 35 days, has scored the 49th hat trick of his club career, while he becomes the second oldest player in Premier League history to net a treble after Teddy Sheringham in August 2003. Unbelievable stuff, sir. But what do we know? Let's check in with the manager. I hope they got the audio right this time. Actually, they got to watch a little ad here.
Isn't that yesterday?
To get to the press conference here. Let's see. All right, sir. You want to grab the presser?
Yeah, let me see what I can do. So let's talk about something else.
Unbelievable performance from Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, Pele's up there as far as goals, but when you have the debate about Messi or CR7, you got to be thinking this record is going to put him over the mark. All right, now let's check in with the manager.
League football match, hugely enjoyable, and of course Cristiano Ronaldo, just a sensational day for him.
Yes, we showed the kind of reaction that we were due to show after the bad second half at the Etihad, and I think the team deserved to win. Coming back after 2 equalizers in that way, in that style, was great. And now we're looking forward to the game on Tuesday.
There are always good and bad side to every game for a coach, of course. You'll be disappointed that you had to score 3 goals to win the game, I guess.
Yes, of course. I mean, after we scored the second one, we were just about to bring on Victor Lindelof, but the ball was just didn't go out. And then we conceded the second one. Then I decided to bring on a second striker because we needed to win the game. And then we scored the third one, and then I could make that substitution that I intended to do 10 minutes before.
And of course, Ronaldo was just fantastic. His first is a vintage Ronaldo goal, a fantastic strike, then a brilliant counter-attack, and an incredible header.
Yes, today he was. That was his best performance, at least since I arrived. He was also good in training on Thursday, and that's why I decided to play him from the start. Although he was out for a week in training, but fantastic performance by him, but also by the rest of the team.
The thing I like about Ralph, he never gets too hot, never gets too cold. He's just even. Calls it like he sees it, and all you got to do today is just talk about how great Ronaldo is, and then on to Athletico Madrid. Oh, I'm nervous.
I mean, because every time we get our hopes up, they get dashed, they get thrown out the window like the baby water. Sir, I want us to win. It's a big game. It's a huge thing. And I'd hope that we would be able to use this momentum, but this team has shown that you can't get your hopes up. So I can't wait. It's 1 o'clock. It's like a weird game. Like daylight savings is tomorrow in the U.S. I think it takes a couple more weeks for Europe. So it's like a late afternoon game. So I can't wait. Let's go.
Before we get into Champions League nights and that amazing theme. Let's talk about the EPL table, where this match leaves us right now. Go top to bottom. Shitty, 69 points, 28 played. Scouts Bastards, 66, 3 off the mark.
That's a race. You said you wanted a race, so you got a race.
It's a
Not the race you wanted, but you got one.
Chelsea, apparently they're still allowed to play. 56 points. We got 50. Now, the real question is, Chelsea have 2 games in hand, though. They played 27, we played 29. So we are in 4th spot, but the real rub is Arsenal have played 25 games, 48 points. Dropped too many points against bad teams. Arsenal should be able to do it. Given who they have left, it's going to be tight. We'll keep you posted there. West Ham, 45 points. Tottenham, 45 points. So that put the nail in the coffin for Tottenham. It's really between us and Arsenal and Chelsea. Rumors Chelsea might get points deducted. I don't know. It depends on the financials, and they could go into administration. Nobody knows what's going to happen with Chelsea at the moment. So you have to bank that they're going to be involved. I hope they could slide pretty hard. Maybe this affects the players, and then there's 2 spots open. It's out of our hands. That's really the theme here for top 4. There is a chance. You're saying there's a chance, but we have to bet on other teams breaking down so that we can catch up. And at the moment, you just focus on getting 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, and hoping that other teams make the mistakes.
There's only one team. You look at that, it's the Gunners. The only team that can really catch us unless we absolutely just blah, 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 which we can.
Chelsea could melt down because the players don't know if they're going to get re-upped, and there's so much distraction, they could just absolutely melt. There's a 10% chance. You know what I'm saying?
You say there's a chance. But Arsenal, the team to worry about, right? They have 4 games in hand. They're 2 games behind us. They've won 4 in a row. Now we need teams to start doing us a favor, like Leicester. That's a big game. That's tomorrow. We need Leicester to beat Arsenal. And then they play Liverpool. So it's... But then you're also going to
It's a fun time. You're going to be watching... I'm watching a lot of Arsenal games now. I mean, it's also a fun time when games start. You can kind of see how they're shaking out, and you're going to be cheering on Leicester City and Arsenal. It's a fun time to be a fan, sir. There's always a chance.
You ready to listen to some Angels?
Let's go. We got some Champions League football. Manchester United versus Athletico Madrid. Old Trafford. Second leg, round of 16. And oh, by the way, win and you are in. We drew at Athletico. There's no away goals rule anymore. It's all going down Tuesday, March 15th, 1 p.m. Pacific. Athletico Madrid, lifetime. We've drawn 2, lost 1. Not a lot of confidence there. Coming into this game, the last 5 for Atletico, they beat Osasuna. We drew with them, obviously. They beat Celta Vigo. They beat Real Betis. And then they beat Cadiz. Sir, I have to. I'm trying. I'm trying my South, my Andalusia accent there on the pod.
Your ex would be proud, sir.
They're playing well.
They were not. I have to say, they came into our game the first time I played them not in form. It seems like playing big old Manchester United got them into form because they were 3 in a row, sir. it dawned on me that that might be the last time we hear it for a long time.
Chills down my spine. You're right. I thought the same thing. This could be the last time on the pod in a year.
Years.
Yeah, it could be years as well. So you know what? Hans and Franz ain't bad. They're friends of the pod.
It's bad.
You know, they got that beat drop in it, in that theme. Everyone who listens to this podcast knows Hans and Franz and that amazing remix of the Europa League theme that they have done. But yes, you know, almost a wake-up call for us this game. Tuesday, tight turnaround. Everyone looked pretty tired out there on that pitch against Tottenham. And we don't play in La Liga, so we probably are going to be coming in a more tired team. They're going to have to dig deep for this one.
But it's OT. OT, late night, under the lights. Like, Jesus, if you cannot get up for this game, then you don't deserve to play football, especially for Manchester United, especially for a club with the aspirations that we do, sir. This is a massive game. A lot to play for. 11 is going to be massive.
You can't play worse than you did when you went to Atletico Madrid. I'll tell you that. That was some of the worst football. I'm looking at you, Harry Maguire, absolute bum.
You got to bench
Started
him.
the game,
You have to
started
bench
give him a
right?
corner. He's got to be benched.
Has
It's got to
to be.
be Lindelof or on 100%. Rangnick knows it. If we see Maguire out there, that's going to be a tough one. But let's a little history about Atletico. We talked about it last time. Obviously, Club Athletico de Madrid, sir. Commonly referred to as Atletico. They are Spanish. They play in La Liga, based in Madrid. This team has won things. They've won La Liga 11 times. You can think of them as sort of like an Arsenal. They've been playing well as of late. They've been to the Champions League final. They've won the league. They got Suarez. They got Simeone.
They're a good team.
I mean, this is we saw it. They're not amazing, but if you play like you're nervous and like the jersey's too big for you, like Harry did coming out, then we're going to lose. And if we play like we did today with some fight and digging deep, we are going to win. You know, this is just one of those things where Atletico Madrid, Black, he had an off game. He's a good keeper. I doubt we can't bank on that again. Like a big decision for Rangnick here on this starting 11.
And this is the game where, like, you know, as much as you pick a team based on who's on paper the best team 11 that's like available, this is like who's going to put it out all 90 minutes. Like this is where you're like, I'm going to play a McTominay over Pogba. I'm going to play an Alonso over Rashford. Like, I want players that are going to like go out there and even if they make mistakes are going to play, because that's the only way we're going to win this game, bro. Because today there's a lot of shuffle shaking and like not a lot of running. And if you do that against Atletico, bro, they're coming out to win. They are coming to win. They're a good team. They've been to the finals of this more recently than we have. So we, like you said, we hung our heads when we stood up there. And I think that part of it is who your captain is. So you got to bench his ass. And that's a huge call for the German, who basically, he's not even playing for his job because he knows he doesn't even have a shot at it, unfortunately. But, you know, I think that's the move. You got to bench Harry. He can't do it.
Big decision from Rangnick, but I think that is the move. Also, fun fact on Atletico Madrid, they have a bunch of different nicknames, but probably the funniest one is the mattress makers. Sir, I can't say that in Spanish. Los colorjones, due to their stripes being the same colors as traditional mattresses in Spain. I didn't know mattresses came in red and white stripes, but apparently in Spain they do. They're called the mattress makers. That's absolutely right.
I love football history because there's so much random stuff like this. Dude, big club that is used to these nights. We have to just be ready to go.
I don't know if, like, you know, this one for Manchester United is like, what are you talking about? Atletico Madrid, big club? Like, no, they're not a big club. Manchester United, big club. Atletico Madrid want to be big club, had their moments.
They're bigger than Villarreal,
but like,
I'm saying.
But like the way we play them now, the way the players play against them, yes, it feels like we're a small, like we're like Leicester going to play Atletico and we're a little nervous. And players got to look at the front of that shirt and look at that badge, maybe look at a few photos like we have here on the podcast of us lifting the 2008 Champions League trophy and lifting the 1999 Champions League trophy. Maybe they should be like, meet the moment.
Well, that's why I'm talking about, I want to pick players that you know are going to go out there and just like give it their all. That's why I kind of meant more like, because a lot of these players, he picked the 11 that like the Pogba, Rashford, Maguire 11 to go down to Madrid. We looked like a stink fest. Because and those players, they were blinded by the light, bro. And that's what I'm talking about. They have been in the final more recently than we have. So to them, it's like, big bad.
Yeah,
Atletico.
Griezmann off the bar.
That's why I want
like,
Alonso. I want like kids that are gonna go out there and just like give it because
Enjoy
that's all we
football.
got.
Yeah, I mean, like Atletico play the 5-3-2. Oblak, like I mentioned, he's pretty good. Savage in the back line. Koke running the midfield, Griezmann, Felix, and obviously it doesn't include Suarez. They got these players they bring off the bench. I mean, they hit the post twice. We drew them 1-1. We got to come out like a completely different team.
De Gea had like 4 lights out saves. This game could have been 5-1.
He was an Atletico player coming back to play spoiler. Injuries, Shaw, he's sick. Scott McTominay sick as well. And Bruno, actually no, McTominay has a heel injury and Bruno is sick. Didn't mention that Bruno was out, how well we played. Going to be interesting. What is your lineup for Atletico Madrid?
This is what I've got. So I got De Gea in net, of course. Delo, Varane, Lindelof, Telles. I like the way Delo and Telles played today. Excuse me. I'm going to do Matic and Fred. Bruno's back in it. Sancho, Alanga, Ronaldo. Let's do it. Who you got?
All right, I'm going to say Dave saves role number 1, and then I'm going to do same as you, Delo, Varane, Lindelof, Telles. I'm going to say McFred, midfield. Bruno comes back in. I got Sancho, Elanga, and Ronaldo. Rashford obviously getting dropped. Look, that's a solid lineup, and we have some injuries coming back in. Obviously, I have McTominay and Bruno. It's good to be tight. I don't know if Bruno has COVID. It's just a bug. I mean, these are these types of things where you don't know. Pogba dropped for me. Pogba dropped for you. Why not play Paul Pogba on Champions League night? That's what fans are probably thinking of right now.
Well, this is also like dependent on Bruno being back, right? Because I think like Pogba played the kind of 10 today in place of Bruno. I prefer to have Bruno. I just think like you need someone that's and Rashford, dude. Rashford's off. Like he's not running, and Pogba's never run. So like I think you need players that are gonna go out there and just like give it their all, even if they fuck up.
Exactly. You have a hard-working Atletico Madrid, and for me, Yogba.
Like ain't gonna happen,
I'm
bro.
worried about Yogba.
I'd rather McFred, even though like they are not as good. But I just think you need players that are gonna go give it their all, or at least pretend to.
All right, give me the odds here from the bookies.
You got Man United as the favorites, surprisingly, plus 120. You got it looks like the draw is plus 210, and Atletico is the underdogs plus 260. Very faint, sir. Who's first-time goal scorer? Who else?
CR7. Let's go. Score prediction for Atletico Madrid. Think about it. This is a big one. What do you got?
1-0 Ronaldo. Penalty.
Oh, you know our defense is giving up goals. I mean,
like, bench McGuire, bro. So there you go.
Tight, nervy game. I think this is going to be like 1-1 extra time penalties. United through. It's going to be like, it's good. I bet you it's like 1-0. We keep the goal, and then like Griezmann gets one like 85th minute, puts it into ET, and then it's just a grind to penalties, and De Gea steps up to the spot. Let's go, United,
Yeah,
sir.
dream,
You know how.
dream.
Let's get into the news.
If we got a pens, I'll tell you what, Hendo's not coming off the bench. I was wrong on that.
United in the news. Rangnick says Rashford free to leave United if game time is a problem. You know what I say? Frosted tips are the downfall of every great player. Rashford coming out after that tough result against Shitty. And Monday morning, all we get is Romano, Rashford evaluating options.
That's it.
And I think you mentioned, obviously he was dropped in the England squad, so
That was the
maybe he
next
was
day.
trying to get out ahead of that. Him and his team were trying to get out ahead. Hey, this isn't my fault. United's the issue with why I'm not playing for England. And this gets to the whole woe is me, baby bitch vibe we got going on with Maguire and probably leaking Luke Shaw and whinging Rashford here. So this is unfortunate to see that type of character come out from these players. Big loss against your top rival, and your first thought is, I need to get out of here.
I mean, this is the unraveling of a future star or current star. And I think this is why Ralph Rangnick's going to get pushed out, because he's calling it too straight, and that's bothering some players. And this was embarrassing because Rashford, dude, he's been off. He's been off all season, and he hasn't been showing the same grit and work rate that he used to. And he got benched. You know what? He got benched. He got a spot taken by Anthony Elanga, 19-year-old Swede, for good reason, bro, because Anthony's been playing a lot better than he has. And guess what happened? They lose, shitty game. His team finds out that Southgate's dropping his ass for the last round of qualifiers, and he's like, who's he go to? Romano will take any story, bro.
Well, here's the deal.
No, but he'll basically.
We don't know if it came from Rashford, but you would have to.
did.
I understand, but you have to assume we're making an assumption this came from his agent, and the way you would do it is you would get out ahead of the news he's getting dropped, because obviously him getting dropped from England is a big deal. But here's the thing: Southgate didn't feature him in the last Euros that much until that penalty that he famously missed. And remember, he was injured while he's sitting on the bench for England, and we got in a big to-do about it on the podcast. If you remember listening, I said, what is Marcus Rashford doing not getting surgery when he's not playing for England? And then, oh, by the way, after that, he kind of disrespected Ole in that sort of players run the roost, because he didn't even let Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he was going to get his surgery so the club could figure out when he was going to come back this season. And, oh, by the way, he hasn't found form after that. That was kind of the downfall of Marcus, was him deciding, hey, he definitely needed surgery. He decided to hang out with England camp, ride the bench, missed the pen, and then he kind of jetted off with Jadon Sancho and kind of didn't really have a priority to come back, tell Manchester United when he was coming back. And I was like, that's the most un-Marcus Rashford thing I've ever seen. And maybe something else is going on behind the scenes, and clearly something is. And obviously you can't comment on personally what's affecting Marcus, but it feels like that type of vibe. His decision-making hasn't really felt like himself as of late. Maybe it's an internal conflict, because him pointing the finger at United doesn't sound like the Marcus Rashford I know. And that's a heartbreaking situation, because he came in his team. We support him. We backed him. I thought he would retire all-time Manchester United leading goal scorer.
That ain't happening.
When the tough get going, if you're a true Manchester United player, you don't ask for the door. You double down and get better, right?
You do, and that's disappointing, because I think you have a straight line decline from the Euros. All things around the injuries. Maybe it started even before that. But he jetted off of Sancho, bro. But Sancho had a rough start. He's knuckling down and starting to look like a real player. One of the few players that's worth keeping in this squad. And it's really unfortunate, because I am a huge fan of Marcus Rashford. Huge fan of his potential and what he can do for this club and for himself. And I just think, like, dude, there are bad mentors in this club that he's attached himself to, and I think that's very clear.
Yeah, it's like identity crisis a little bit. He doesn't know if he should go full Sir Marcus, or he wants to kind of be
like tough guy superstar,
which
I
like
also
Lingard, Pogba, Sancho, but like Sancho can handle it, and some players can't, and obviously there could be personal things going on behind the scenes too. But you hate to see what we thought would be this great Manchester United player almost asking for the door when he's facing adversity. But here's the deal: Ronaldo's out. Martial went on loan. Cavani's injured. And obviously Greenwood's out. He can't get into the team.
He's not playing well.
That's an indictment of Rashford.
Right.
The thing about him is, it's not controversial to say. You can watch it. It's not good. He's not himself. You can watch highlights of last season, the season before. Something's fallen off. And for me, it's sort of that he was injured, and then England, and then him coming back to United was even weird. And ever since then, he's never kind of been himself.
He hasn't, and I like how Ralph handled it, because you know what? There's been too long where players are running the roost, acting like they're in charge, and Ralph's like, hey, we're not going to talk about it right now, but any player that wants to leave can leave. And Ralph, that's right. That is the right stance, because that's what Fergie would have done, bro. And the problem is Rashford, Pogba, Ronaldo, whoever, they think they're bigger than the club, because they, you know what? They've been treated that way by the Woodward, Glazer shit show that we have at front office. And I don't know how this is going to play out. I think they're going to look for somebody that they can bring in that can kind of just clean things up. And that seems like a
you're
potch.
going to and obviously, why would you make that comment when we're getting a new manager and you don't even know who that is yet as well? So it's like, you should have a little more respect for the club. I think this is part of what you're discussing, is like that respect.
It's like the tweets.
It was like when,
have some self-awareness.
No, it started when Pogba started speaking out of turn, when he was like in Asia and he's like, hey, I want to go to a bigger challenge than United. And then his agent started talking. That was not the norm before that. Before players did it, had some respect. They didn't actually talk about it. And
that was
now,
Mourinho. That was like Mourinho got
that's what I'm saying.
Over Pogba when Mourinho wanted to sell Pogba.
No, but this whole talking out is like Rashford's thinking about himself. This is a selfish comment from him. Clearly his team put this out there to like as a shot to Manchester United or something. But it's like, if you had respect for the club, you would wait for us to pick a manager. You would meet that manager and you would see. So obviously if Pochettino comes in, he would rate Marcus. I don't know who wouldn't rate Marcus. So I'd almost wait. It's not like Ralph's the new manager and he just doesn't like him and not playing him. There's a different dynamic. He's interim. So have some respect, for Manchester United. Wait until you start having your agents come out and
how many players
creating
did
these
that this
bad
season,
stories.
dude?
Middle of the season, we got Champions League football. Worry about playing better. Doesn't make sense to me. He even got to start today and he didn't play well.
No, he didn't.
And
he's
so-
like the sixth guy on the Manchester United team to do it this fucking season.
I know,
Ronaldo
it's just-
did it. Pogba did it.
And you're right.
Lingard
Maybe he's the
did it.
leaker. You said he was the leaker. And
Of course he is.
Yeah,
It's the England guys. You
Yeah.
can tell, dude, because they
I'm
think they're a
starting to
big
think that,
deal.
yeah,
They think they're a
exactly.
really big deal. They're not a really big deal. And all the Portuguese or French guys who have won World Cups or played outside of the Premier League. So there's something happened, and it's not great, and it's a product of
this one hurts.
you allowing the players to run the show, bro. And the problem is he's like the 6th or 7th guy to do it this season, but he hurts the most because it's Marcus.
No, it's like
It hurts the most
yeah.
because it's Marcus. It's
No, it's
Sir
hurt.
Marcus MBE, bro. And we all thought he was the chosen one, but this season has been a real nut punch, bro. One after another.
But here's the deal: when the going gets tough at Manchester United and you want to go, it's like leave
Yeah,
because
of course,
that's not the type of players that we need, and that's not the type of performances we've been seeing. We've been seeing soft serve FC. So if you're a part of that, it's hard for me to believe Marcus is, but if he is a part of that, then obviously PSG can go hang out with PSG and all the soft serve they got going on there. Tons of it. Next bit of news here. This one, direct shot in the nuts, sir. Direct hit. Holland, shitty. It's happening. Madrid, Barcelona, they were fighting. And a lot of Sports Illustrated, ESPN, Daily Mail, everyone's reporting it. Deal done. Holland has chosen Man City. Unbelievable offer from them. Apparently over $100 million. Probably going to be the highest paid player in the English Premier League. Shitty winning leagues without a striker are going to get the best striker in the world. And add insult to injury, Murtaugh could have signed him for £3 million because Ole obviously knew he's the man. He's a Norwegian all-star. When he was at Molde, he came, he said, sign him.
What time's the flight, bro? What time's the call? Oh, shit. Time zones?
He missed the call because of the time zone.
Moron.
And so, yeah, our current DOF arguably fumbled the biggest transfer. That's £97 million. That's a £97 million loss right there.
But look at how City does business, bro. They buy 50, 60, $60 million players one after another. And then now they're going to break the bank on a player that's worth it, bro. We broke the bank on Paul Pogba, who we knew
Sanchez.
We didn't pay
Falcao.
any money on him. Who do we break the records on? Paul Pogba and Harry Maguire, bro. You break the record on this guy. This is who you break the record on. And
We
had
broke the wage bill with Sanchez,
sniffs
though.
at. I know we did that.
Because we paid him the upfront fee.
It's been a disaster
time,
for the last 4 years. It's been a crisis for the last 8. And this is a microcosm of all the issues we ever had, dude. We had 2 sniffs at it. We had an inside man. We had fucking Ole coaching him at Molde. And sign him. We bottled it, bro.
Who bottled it? Murtaugh.
DOF,
and by
bro.
the way, he got promoted. And then, by the way, Ed Woodward could have signed him for $17 million, but he said he didn't want to pay the agent's fees. Obviously, there was a release clause and a lot of strings attached. But if you could look at who's played striker for Manchester United over the last 3 years, Odi Nagalo, and then obviously aging Cavani, we've needed number 9. So release clause, agent's fees, whatever. I would have paid it. And Ed Woodward making excuses. So again, we missed out on him twice. Should have come to United. We are dying for a young and up and coming number 9. And now we're gonna have to see that Viking yell celebration.
10 years,
as
bro.
Shitty.
10 years.
This is the type of stuff that history is made from, and one that we should be paying attention to, because if Holland goes to Shitty, that scares me in more ways than Pep's not going then, because this is like guaranteed leagues. He's going to be stacking them with Holland. Probably, you think of him as like probably the best prospect in the world right now. Pep's going nowhere because this machine's going to keep turning. And as United, we're just going to always look back and we're going to say, remember when Murtaugh could have signed him for $3 million? Remember when Woodward could have signed him? And then now our big rivals have him. And oh, by the way, we're miles off them already.
I know, but I think
this is the direction. So you have to be honest about it. This could be like, you look back 10 years from now, we'll be on the pod being like, $3 million, Murtaugh
It's not going to
missed
be
the
because
time
of this,
zone.
bro. We paid $80 million for Harry Maguire, bro. This club is a joke at the moment. It's being run by fucking idiots. So yes, We should have signed him.
And the
twice.
fucking idiots fumbled it twice, and now he's going to our biggest
and they're
rival,
still in charge.
or one of our biggest rivals.
But they don't even need him to smoke us. They blew us off the pitch twice in the season. Like, we didn't even have a sniff at it, and they didn't even have a striker, bro. And they laughed us off the pitch.
And now they have the best
and
one in
now
the
they have
world.
the best up and coming, but he might have injury issues. He could miss all these games, bro. There's no.
I'll rewind this back.
So
You can't defend
you're
it.
all like fired up about him, I know, but like they're already fucking laughing us off the pitch, and they don't even have a striker. So it doesn't
all
really
I'm
matter.
trying to say, my argument is that you use a yardstick and you're like, how far are Shitty in front of us?
Miles.
And then you add Holland, and then we have no number 9. And by the way, the only one who can play number 9 wants to leave. Martial wants to leave. Greenwood, we know that story. Cavani's going to leave. Ronaldo's going to leave. We have no number 9 now. We need probably 3 of them. And oh, by the way, the best one in the world just went to Shitty, who's already ahead of us. So that gap just increased.
Also, why didn't we
and that
match
sucks.
this deal? Why didn't we match this fucking deal? Like, why don't you go all in to be like, we'll give you even more money, bro?
We weren't even in the conversation
Because we don't have the money.
I
Because
know,
the whole point
I
is,
know.
what's the problem? The problem is the Glazers, and what's the balance sheet look like, sir? It is a disaster. We can't afford him. We can't afford nothing. We can't afford a new stadium. We can't afford a new pit. New Carrington. Sir, we are broke. We are broke, and we will suffer as long as the Glazers own us. So it's really just like, how low can we go with these American owners? Because until they get their tentacles out, it's going to be a lot of Viking. Oh,
I know. No, I'm just saying. It's just like
in a half-empty stadium. He's
Yeah.
going to be laughing at us. He's a giant. Look at that freak. He's gonna annihilate us, bro. And that's what matters you, because he's gonna.
no, he's gonna Vikings celebrate all over our face, and it's just gonna be. No, this is like when I talked about this summer, right? We talked about the transfer window and how chips fall and like what happens, etc. Right? We were all focused on Ronaldo, but when I said on the pod, I said when Man City didn't sign Harry Kane, that means they're going to be in for Haaland, and that makes me nervous. And that was this past summer, because if Kane went to Tottenham, Kane went to Shitty, they would have not made this move for Haaland, and ultimately Daniel Levy not budging on selling Kane is what made Haaland go there, and that's why we're not in the mix. And it's just one of those things where dominoes fall where they may. They wanted Kane. If they got Kane, they're not doing this deal, and now they're so pumped. Like so desperate for a striker, they paid over the top and they got their man. And look at that roster.
They paid over the top for the striker that's worth it, bro.
Exactly.
The
That's
difference
scary.
Is,
I
the
know.
difference is
I'd
that
rather them
City
have
doesn't
Kane.
overpay for shit players, bro. They didn't bite on Fred. We bought on Fred. They didn't bite on Sanchez. They didn't bite on Harry Maguire. And we went over the odds on players that weren't worth it or weren't worth blowing up our
He's a
wage bill.
player.
And of course he is, bro.
He's
But this
a
club is
player.
run by morons. So
He's
like
a player.
you're arguing with yourself and like expecting a different. Like, dude, we're gonna be way
the
worse. Arsenal's gonna be better than us in a couple years if we keep
the
going.
nail
with
in the
Glazers.
coffin. The nail in the coffin for me, for Manchester United, is literally we sign Ole Gunnar Solskjaer from Molde. He knows there's this young phenom, up and coming freak, Haaland. Get him. Murtaugh, sign him. I know he's telling United, get this kid in. That £3 million phone call that we whiffed at, and he went to RB Salzburg. That was the one. That's the issue with Manchester United, right? Because Ole hiring him, it's like just like we hired Rangnick. You got to be, who should we sign? Rangnick has a book. Ole was at Molde. He's like, get this kid in. These cheap deals of these players that these managers know about, not being able to execute and get them in is the main issue at United, because if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer left and we had got Erling Haaland, that would have made it all worth it at the end of the day, because the front office of Manchester United keeps making these errors, keeps making these mistakes, and that will cost us down the road. And talking about that Murtaugh phone call will, I think, be Manchester United lore, because this is the type of fumble it was. It's probably the biggest error in the last decade.
No, dude, because he hasn't even scored any fucking goals for City yet, bro. You want to know an error? 12 fucking years ago, 2010. A young Argentinian striker from Athletico Madrid that we were in for, that we needed, and we didn't want to pay 35 million pounds.
Yes.
Fergie. Who is it?
Aguero.
Sergio fucking Aguero, bro. He should have come to United. And
Exactly.
this is not like this is it. It was done 12 years ago when they put in the best front office in football, and they've kept it the best front office in fucking football. Even PSG, new money
And
merchants.
David Silva, by the way, as well.
Dude, but the bigger one was Aguero. We were
No, it was both of
we
them
needed
on the-
Aguero,
yeah.
and like they didn't want to pay for Aguero, and Fergie was like, "Well, we shouldn't have paid for Aguero, even though they paid like $7 million less for fucking Wayne
you're
Rooney
right.
8 years earlier." That was literally cheap ball Glazer economics, and then they did do RVP because he said like, "If you don't do RVP, I will fucking quit."
Jude Bellingham, Camavinga.
Sir, how many?
Exactly.
Dude,
There's a lot of them.
We've been run by morons for a dozen years, honestly, for 20 years, sir. So, like, you're right that this is going to hurt, but that one hurt, dude. Aguero.
No, it's £100 million loss. So you could get the best upcoming player in Europe for $3 million. It's a big fumble, and that hurts the team.
We'd ruin him anyway, probably.
I'm not that pessimistic, but look, we talked about it. It's not final, but everyone's reporting it. And this one is just one of those things where you just go, damn, I hate John Murtaugh.
And you know what's even worse?
Guess who his agent is? This is an indictment of Murtaugh.
Guess who his agent is?
Obviously real.
He's gonna just like laugh. He's gonna be like, Manchester United gonna sign them. He's gonna like laugh in our faces, like eating cheeseburgers. I know,
but I don't. But people also say you don't want a Riola player. I do agree in some ways too. But like again, there's also a point where you just need like a good number 9. That's one. And he's going to Blue Side Manchester. Next one here, sorry, this one we'll have a little laugh here. The UK government freezes the asset of Roman Abramovich, creating a crisis at Chelsea. This will impact Manchester United as well because they could be selling players, and we need players. This could be a once-in-a-lifetime sale. Chelsea, we all knew it. We've talked about in the pod for years. We've gone through the history of Roman Abramovich. His money was shady when he came in and bought the team. Shame on the Premier League for letting him buy Chelsea in the first place. Shame on the fans for ignoring the issues with that money. Shame on Christian Pulisic for signing for Chelsea. I called it out. I said, as an American, why would you sign for that team? Look at how he got his fortune. His business partner like suicided on a yacht. There's all this shady stuff. His history is insane. His links to Putin finally coming to roost. It was always there. He spent 1.9 billion pounds more than the team could afford. Where's that money coming from? Come on. Everyone could never ignore it. We always said that. All the money you took from the big Russian crook, and you'll never win 3 in a row, sir. Finally come to roost for Chelsea. They're going to come back down to earth. And you know what? That's called, I'm glad the UK government did it because what's going on in Ukraine is absolutely a shame. By the way, the Skripal poisoning in 2014, that was probably we're sanctioning him over. I mean,
it's
UK
shame on England,
going,
bro.
You know?
Shame on England, bro. This is like way too little, too late. Like they knew it when they came in 2004. His hands were all tied with Putin, bro. Every dollar, if you're a billionaire coming out of Russia, bro, is attached to Putin. So like they knew who they were bringing in, and you know what, City. Same kind of shit. Newcastle, they just brought in like a really bad owner, sir. So it's like England, they know they don't have a lot of things that are going to be worth a shit ton. One is football and real estate, and they've just allowed dirty money to come in for 20 plus years, bro. And they're finally like caught in the act. And you know what? Shame on NBC Sports. Shame on everyone in like the Western world that kind of like puffed them up as some great club, bro. They're a nothing club. They're a nothing club, bro. And they're actually like a dirty club. Kind of like a Millwall, kind of like a West Ham, kind of like a Leeds. But this is when a United that had a really good clubs that have a good front office is going to take advantage of this right now, bro. Because this is when you hop on a Rudiger, you hop on a Tuchel, you hop on a Conte, and you just try and pick up as many players as you can because they all want out. They all want out because there's uncertainty.
No, because they can't fund the team.
Exactly.
Right now, Chelsea's
on the bus.
So to give you kind of the, and I agree with you, shame on a lot of like NBC Sports doesn't talk about the issues with his money, how the clubs basically doesn't make enough money, is funded by laundered money from Russia. By the way, he acquired that stake in the oil company because Putin sold it to him cheap. Right. He bought it to it like basically 1/10 of the valuation. He paid $300 million, but it was worth billions of dollars, essentially laundering Russian money into England and sports washing to sort of, you know the whole story, but NBC Sports never covered it. No one ever talked about it. You went on a Chelsea podcast and then brought it up with them, and they got all kind of weird about it.
They didn't talk about
Fans
it.
don't like to they like to skirt this issue, but it's like no. If we had a similar owner at Manchester United, like we call it the Glazers just because they're greedy, but I would call out owners with questionable human rights backgrounds, etc. Of course, and the main issue with Chelsea is that their club is completely funded by like a debt to Roman Abramovich, which is almost $2 billion. This team doesn't make that much money at all. That's the difference between Manchester United and Chelsea. They're funding a £150 million loss. They can't pay their players. No owner is going to buy that club and spend more than they make. This club is going to crash down to earth. They're going to sell their players for cheap. This is a reckoning. Chelsea Football Club is going to return to what they are, which is nothing. They are nothing before he bought them. I think they won like one trophy. obviously there's probably like a few more trophies that don't matter.
They're a
in there.
small club,
they
bro.
were nothing before he bought them. They won everything because he funded it with dirty money. Then he's going to leave, and then they're going to go right back down because who buys them is going to have to make money off this club, and they don't make a lot of money. Chelsea is Russian oil money. That is it.
I mean, they make more money than they made 20 years ago, but you're absolutely right, because before the Glazers, this club has still won a treble. This club still won the European Cup. This was still the Busby Babes. This was still Munich. This was still, this was still Manchester fucking United. Chelsea, City. Even City were actually bigger than Chelsea were.
They
got bought.
Yeah, they were.
They bought them.
Yes.
They won a league.
Look it up. Look at the
before we did.
Wikipedia.
We learned all about it. But Chelsea are a nobody. They were a nobody, bro. They're like, but the problem is people like flashy teams. And when they came in, they brought Mourinho in. They built a really good side. They were fun to watch. Sir, there's more of this. Like, where do you draw the line? Yeah, like Russia invaded Ukraine, but like the people that just bought Newcastle are not wonderful people.
Bonesaw FC. No,
Exactly.
Shame on the Premier League.
Exactly.
This could be coming for Newcastle as well. And fans explaining this away, the Chelsea fans chanting his name at games are just so tone deaf. At the end of the day, like, this is a big moment. And I think everyone who looked the other way, and I'm a big U.S. men's national team fan. I was pissed that Pulisic looked the other way with that one. Be like, you want to get paid by that money? You want to play for that owner? I mean, like, there's certain things that in football, like, obviously no one wants to think about global politics in football, but it does come to the game in the UK especially. And look, he's going to be thinking about leaving. He's going to be thinking about, is my paycheck going to get paid? Are the bank accounts going to be unfrozen? What's the deal with my contract? All that is off. Every player there is going to be up for sale. Now, I want Jorginho. I want Conte. I want Rudiger. I want that. I want Tuchel. Like, this is a chance for United. That's our Chelsea rant. We'll keep you posted. Nobody knows how this is going to turn out. But at the end of the day, an owner's going to come in, and there's going to be no more owners that can spend that money like Abramovich did. This team is going to go back to reality.
And somebody's going to pick up the pieces, and it's a great time for us to pick up the pieces. Because, like,
Exactly.
if Newcastle was smart, they'd be trying to sign these players. We should be trying to sign these players. Villa will be. They all will be. Like, there's so many good players that they have, sir. Their midfield alone.
Everyone but Werner. I'll take that. Next article
Lukaku,
here.
bro, we're good.
Yeah, I don't need Lukaku. Meat sweat Lukaku. Ralph Rangnick makes his feelings clear on Thomas Tuchel. He said Tuchel's a great manager. Obviously, Rangnick came up under Tuchel. Let's just use this article to talk about what has been happening in the presser. We rarely go a week between podcasts. So much has happened at Manchester United. Rumors. Tuchel, Pochettino bottled the Champions League, bottled it against Real Madrid.
What's new?
He's going to get fired 100%. He will be available. So we got Tuchel might be available. Poch probably available. Ten Hag talks have been heating up. Obviously, Ancelotti's been mentioned as well. Hasenhüttl has been mentioned. Hasenhüttl?
I'm the big two. The big two.
Who do you want? Why? What do you think?
I mean, obviously, I want Ralph Rangnick as my DOF with Tuchel. That would be legend. But you're not going to likely get Tuchel because I think Tuchel's smarter than that. He knows this club's being run by idiots, so he's not going to come here.
At desperate times, though. It's going
true.
to be desperate
It's
times.
true.
I think
It's true.
Chelsea players are going to be looking to leave. Wait till they start leaving.
I don't think Tuchel would come
people are gonna
unless
be,
he was
going.
like, is Ralph Rangnick going to be in charge? Because unless Ralph's in charge, why the fuck would I come to this cluster shit? Because it is, bro. Like, no one wants to work for John Murtaugh.
Cluster shithole. I've never heard that
It's
one
a
before.
goddamn disaster
It's a new
class,
pod,
bro.
new
It's
pod.
a goddamn dumpster fire. It's like nobody wants to work with
Okay, I understand.
Matt Judge.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
okay. We talked about the dumpster fire.
My first pick.
Let's
you know
go
who
to
we're
talk
gonna
about the
get? You know
coach.
who we're going to get? We're getting Pochettino. PSG are now going to fire Pochettino because a week ago, Ten Hag had the cheaper buyout. It looks like PSG were going to advance. Maybe PSG would lose their manager because Real Madrid would take him. Ancelotti beat your boy Poch. I'm just fucking with you. I want Ten Hag, but now we're going to get Pochettino. So I want Ten Hag and Rangnick as my DOF, and we're going to get John Murtaugh and Pochettino, bro. Let's go. Paul Pogba, 450,000 pounds a week, 5-year deal. I'm telling you, bro, it's happening.
State of this team, state of this pod right now, sir. I got to tell you, the funny thing about it is, the footballing gods, like, they have their hands in everything. And when, like I said, when Shitty doesn't sign Harry Kane, then they get Haaland. Like, that type of fate, these types of things that just happen and then they lead to other events, and like one of those events is PSG's going to advance. I'm rooting for Poch to win the Champions League so he doesn't become our manager. Like I need
Not now.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want him to win the Champions League so he doesn't become Manchester United's manager. And then what does he do? He balls it in spectacular fashion, and he's going to become our manager. You'll look at history. You'll be like, why did Pochettino become the manager of Manchester United? You will literally be like, they had a 2-0 aggregate lead and they lost it in the second half, and that's why he became our manager, and that's why the mediocrity of Manchester United continues. It's crazy how this shit goes down. I couldn't believe. I was out to lunch with the wife. I was like checking the score. I was like, please PSG win. I hate PSG, but I need them to win so Pochettino doesn't become our coach, because Ten Hag negotiations were going on because he's a cheaper buy. Because if Poch does well in the Champions League, PSG won't give him to us. The fate of how this is going to turn out is going to be crazy. And like you said, it's most likely Harry Kane, Pochettino, and a Pogba new deal, and we are just soft serve FC for the next 10 years.
And guess what, brother? You know another player that Fergie wanted to sign that cheap wad Glazers refused to sign is Karim Benzema. When we fucking missed Aguero, he's like, sign Karim Benzema. Sorry, can't sign Karim Benzema, sir. So the problem is the same problem.
I think it's Kareem.
Well, sir, I can't say anybody's name. I just made up words, expressions on the fly. English language is a contact sport with me, sir. But like the reason that what's his name was at the game today is because of the Glazers. Like your boy, what's his face?
TB12.
He was there because of the goddamn Glazer.
The best part about that is I have a friend who's like a big Red Sox fan, and then he started rooting for the Scouse Bastards because the connection, and then he obviously likes the Pats, and then Tom Brady leaving and then coming to root for Manchester United. You got to rub that in his face.
It makes sense that a Boston team.
Well, obviously, the Glazer Connect is the reason why he's there. Let's not be honest. But he did tweet out, "I'm cheering for United," and he did cheer on because
he's in the
Ronaldo.
owner box. He's in the owner box.
Come on, so it's like that's a good, that's a United fan to me. He ain't at no Scouse Bastards game. Come on.
What I think is I'll go on the other side is like the fact is like there's a lineage between like Liverpool, the city, and Boston, bro. Those seem like sister cities all day.
They are.
Don't those seem like sister cities? Like 100%?
No, I know. And sorry for all the Boston.
It's true, though. I mean,
listeners of the pod, because, we grew up in Jersey.
Boston, bro. I got family in Boston.
We grew up in New Jersey, and, I have friends from Boston. And
New York, Manchester, maybe?
It's loggerheads. You talk about the heydays of New York, Boston. It's dude, obviously you have the New York Giants beaten. Come on. Let's go.
What we got? Fan questions.
New Jersey Giants. Let's get into fan questions here. At Jamal Mota, Sirs C showed herself today. After 2 goals, Peacock was still debating the success of the Ronaldo signing. We looked pretty great in the midfield today without Bruno. Sancho and Fred were on fire. Tom Brady has been to more United games than the Glazers this year.
That's amazing.
Big 3 points. Great tweet there.
That's amazing. It's so true, though. They haven't been to a single game. They're like, hey, Tom, take our tickets. We're good.
At JDW300, CR7 is the best and greatest goal scorer, period. Drop Maguire. Too many unnecessary back passes. Dreadful in possession. OG in general, incompetence. Yeah, Maguire. Whew, tough one today.
Our fans know it. It's like, this team's ready. Well, find the pieces that are, and just Maguire's the first to go.
We got to comment on the fact that we always watch Telemundo or the Spanish commentary, and then they didn't even have that available. And then we had to listen to Arlo and Graham Lasso. They are horrible.
Remember they talked about the quintessential Graham Lasso header? Like, he's a big deal.
They're talking about his header. For 2 minutes, they're talking about Graham Lasso played for Chelsea. Yeah, when we talked about how Chelsea was nobody, that's when he played there. And he's literally a nobody, and they're talking about his football career.
What was Arlo doing before he was the NBC? That was the
Seattle Sounders, bro. He worked for the Seattle. These guys.
Shout out to Seattle Red Army. Look, we love Seattle Red Army.
And the crazy thing is, just give us the UK commentary. I'm not
so much better.
I don't like to If they weren't so bad, I wouldn't have to comment on it. It is objectively.
They're
horrible.
So full of themselves.
They are objectively.
They're so full of themselves.
And even the halftime guys
are terrible.
Dude, like we said, talking up Chelsea, not talking about the issues with all the money that's funneled in the club, talking up Shitty, not talking about financial fair play. These are all things that I just don't think they give NBC gives a very whitewashed view of the Premier League, and they should be doing a little better. At J McLiver, Fred looked great, did he not? Also loved Cavani buzzing around the pitch until the last whistle. Shout out to Cavani. Maguire needs to take some dance lessons and learn to be more nimble. Ronaldo, what a performance. A little nervy, but the lads did it. Hashtag glory, glory, Man United. What do you think? Dance lessons for Harry?
I think he needs something. He needs a drop. Maybe go back to Greece, see if he can get his fighting boots back on, but he needs something.
At Rolling the Deep 1995, get wrecked Spurs. Ronaldo masterclass at Old Trafford. We showed character and determination when it was needed. Defense still needs to work harder, but seeing Tom Brady give Ronaldo a standing ovation, let's go. I mean, that is pretty special. You have to admit, like, even as someone who rooted against Tom Brady for like 2 decades, until he like left the Pats, just because I wanted the Pats fans to hurt more. You know, that's just that East Coast spite.
This guy can't.
Dude, him clapping for Manchester United for Ronaldo, the Hattie, breaking the record. I mean, these are moments that, like, if Manchester United can't give us a trophy, a special night like that, you know, it's like, you know, you look at the low of when you went there, sir.
That was pretty bad, October. But you know what? We're going in
That
May.
wasn't that moment. That wasn't a moment to remember.
But that was an important moment in United history. Unfortunately, you have to know the ugliness too. It's part of it.
At Ty Kircher, quote, when the lads went into attack, they were excellent, sat back and gave away 2 goals. Weird, must be said. Fred was outstanding today. And Sancho, of course, big game on Tuesday. Sancho was great. Fred played well. You know why Fred played well? It's because we were able to put a proper CDM in the middle of the park.
That's right.
And this goes back to the director of football. When you're watching Camavinga play lights out.
Oh my God, what a
for
player.
Real Madrid. What a player. You could have got him for cheap.
Bellingham.
You always get the replacement. If Paul Pogba is going to potentially leave, you get the replacement the year before. We could have, like, Camavinga could be the game changer for us. Look how well we played when we had a proper CDM. And oh, by the way, Modric is too old to do it every game. We needed that young CDM in last summer. Shame on United. Shame on Murtaugh.
Dude, moron FC. What did I call it? It's like we're gonna spend £100 million allegedly on Declan Rice.
Depends on Champions League.
I know, but like
the budget is completely dependent on Champions League. 60 million without Champions League. We're gonna be selling.
Could have bought Bellingham, Camavinga, and
gonna be
Erling
selling.
Haaland, bro. When we had our first sniffs, it's like we're just always late to the party, bro.
We're gonna be selling players.
Good.
Mark my words.
Good.
To fund this rebuild. At the Alex Davis 33, quote, I'd rather start Tom Brady at the back than Harry Magoo.
Harry Magoo, that's amazing.
But my goodness, let it be known, the world Ronaldo is far from finished. Harry Magoo is the new thing.
That's the Harry Magoo.
Appreciate you, Alex. That is awesome. And I'd rather start Tom Brady. He'd fight harder than Harry. He'd look pretty bad out there, I'm sure. Pretty slow as well.
He is pretty slow.
Him and Harry in a foot race. That would be interesting. I don't know who you would take there.
It's probably got to be Maguire, you think?
All right, we're going to end with this one. At TweetSauce13, quote, done with Harry. He's a mid-table defender. Good showing in the end from the squad. Sancho is gaining confidence, and everyone knows we need all 3. Sancho, like, I mean, where would we be without him? I mean, he looks like the proper player he was meant to be. He's getting his foot in England. You got to give a player a year, and we're starting to see it.
He's a young player, and where would we be without Ronaldo? That's the kind of player that you break the bank for. £74 million, well worth it. Long may he reign, sir. Long may he reign.
That's it. That's the podcast. Thanks for listening, downloading, sharing, liking, and everything. We really appreciate it. A spicy one. Lots to catch up on. Big week. Rarely have we gone a week in between podcasts this year, but the news was insane. We had to cover it all. If you know the American Red Devils, we are for fans, by fans. You can support the podcast. Check out our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/American Red Devils. Join our Discord channel. It's pinned on our Twitter page. You just click on that link, jump into the chat with all the other Muppets around the world. Also, check out our website, www.americanreddevils.com. Great fan-generated content, and our store is there. Everything you buy supports this small-time operation. I promise it is just Alex and myself figuring all this out. And I have a baby on the way, so we shall see how that goes. It come any day now, right now, for me. So nervy stuff. 2 kids and a pod. Let's see how that goes.
So get these pods in while you can. I'm just saying.
I'll be calling in.
You better be hopeful you're here for Athletico. So I hope you are too.
I know.
And then we got USA games coming around the corner, sir. Why don't you tell me about the schedule?
Big U.S. men's national team games coming in. World Cup qualifying, the final 3.
Big ones.
Mexico away, Costa Rica away, Panama at home. The table is tight. If you're a U.S. men's national team fan, this is it. This is what it's all about. We're going to be getting the Athletico recap podcast midweek. Then the weekend, we're going to do a U.S. men's national team preview because it's the big last 3 games. Hopefully getting our boy Mike on, and then we'll do a recap for that, and then getting you prepared for United's final run-in, the final stretch. Hopefully some more Champions League. Lots to play for. Exciting times.
So the first game when we get through the international break, your boy, Brendan Rodgers, sir. Remember he was talked about as a Manchester United potential? Holy shit. He's like 12th. He's like, we need him to do us a favor tomorrow when they play the Gunners.
Yep, and it's that type of season where you start watching Arsenal football, see what they're all about. Sweet. Sir, give us our top 10 downloads last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? Elko, Nevada. Bristol, UK. Appreciate you. Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Denver, Colorado. Enfield, New Hampshire. Cumming, Georgia. Washington, D.C. Freehold, Jersey. Appreciate you. Shout out. Albuquerque, UK. And last but not least, Cape Town, South Africa. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. It's been a tough year. Really tough year.
But what a day. This is a day to
enjoy that game. Ronaldo hat trick, sir. Need one of those before
savor it. We're going to leave you with none other than Viva Ronaldo.